Hello, everybody. Good evening. Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day walk on water? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would save our sons and daughters? Did you know that your baby boy has come to make you new? This child that you delivered will soon deliver you. Mary, did you know that your baby boy will give sight to a blind man? Mary, did you know that your baby boy will calm the storm with his hand? Did you know that your baby boy has walked where angels throng? When you kiss your little baby, you kiss the face of God. Mary, did you know? Mary, did you know? The blind will see, the deaf will hear, the dead will live again. The lame will leap, the dumb will speak, the praises of the Lamb. Oh, Mary, did you know that your baby boy is Lord of all creation? Mary, did you know that your baby boy will one day rule the nations? Did you know that your baby boy is heaven's perfect lamb? The sleeping child holding is the great I am. Mary, did you know? Mary, did you know? Love in action. Lord Jesus, here I am, my knees on the floor, to say thank you, my Lord, for the lights that comes through this door. Your love is the key to change the entire world. Using these chains wisely, I understand. Helping others is helping myself. Your words now are so crystal clear. Your teachings have no frontier. To see all these transformations, we just have to put love in action. Now I understand. Helping others is helping myself. Your words now are so crystal clear. Your teachings have no frontier. To see all these transformations, we just have to put love in action.
Wherever you are, glowing seeds of love, as our Master Jesus taught. You will see that behind every sight there's a flame shining bright, tiny spark created by God. I will follow your path, Father, 'cause nobody's alone in life, and the scars of my destiny will be healed by your love. Disseminate wherever you are, glowing seeds of love, as our Master Jesus taught. As our Master Jesus taught.
Another day, Another flower, another minute past the hour. Someday the sky is blue, and suddenly we can't see through. And every day is a fresh new start. When the sun turns off the moonlight, we get another chance to choose the road we want to cruise. And on the other side of the mountain, there's always a whole new road, a new beginning calling after every end. There are a million reasons to pick you up after every fall. It's always a win and a new round. On the other side of the mountain, there's always a whole new road, and a new beginning calling after every end. And there are a million reasons to pick you up after every fall. It's always a win and a new round. It's always a win and a new round. It's always a win and a new round. It's always a win and a new round.
When I go in to pray, I look for my good Jesus. And when I close my eyes, I can feel all His light. I open my heart for all He has to say. He shows me the best way I can enjoy my life. Jesus, Jesus, they never we apart. Please bring all your light to shine inside my heart. Jesus, Jesus, I can be content. I have your endless love and your protecting hand.
Hello, everyone. What a beautiful songs that we hear tonight, preparing our environment for our meeting. So we'd like to say thank you for all of you that join us tonight, our public meeting. So before we start, I would like to share some announcements. So everybody's welcome to our meeting tonight. First of all, we'd like to ask you to turn off the phone notification, and if it's possible, find a quiet place during this time. So it's gonna be better for us to understand all the messages we have tonight. Our meeting has a format of 30 minutes conversation and 10 minutes with Q&A, question and answer. So everybody is welcome to put in the chat the questions that things trigger you to understand more this subject tonight. We also would like to announce that after that we're gonna have the treatment with magnetized water. So for that, please set aside a container with water that's gonna be used during the treatment. So another thing we'd like to share with you that our public meeting is being retransmitted today by Continental Concafras America through their Facebook, and we also be retransmitted every Wednesday at 8 p.m. by Kardec Radio through their Facebook and YouTube. And you can follow us through our Facebook page and also Spiritist Canada and also YouTube channel. And one more place that you can follow. It's the um, Spiritist Path of the Way, the group on London. So, for you that would like to understand a little bit more about the Spiritism, so we invite you to our next class. It's a online course, free, and everybody is welcome. You just have to subscribe on this link that's under here. So next Saturday around 5:15, we open our school, and we're gonna have that special class about obsession. What is this obsession? Incarnate, disincarnate spirits. We're gonna understand this subject. So everybody's welcome to participate with us with our classes. So we're gonna have a video. Let me see if you have a video today. Probably in the end we're gonna have a video. So again, everybody's welcome to sorry, we have a small technical difficulty here, but we are back. Thank you for the attention. So to start our meeting, we generally do a pray in the beginning. So I'd like to invite you to participate with us this prayer, the opening prayer. So for this, I think it's a good idea if you can close your eyes to synchronize the good vibes coming from the Jesus Christ heart and this feeling. Say thank you, Lord, for this opportunity to be here, learning a little bit more about your gospel, the gospel of love. Allow, good Master, the good spirits can be with us, helping us to understand, helping us to accepting those laws of love. So be with us today and forever, and so be it. So tonight we have a special speaker, and we're gonna talk about render good for evil. It's in the chapter 12, the Gospel according to Spiritism, and the topic is love your enemies. Oh my God, love your enemies. Enemies. Who is the person that's gonna speak and talk to us tonight? Miss Larissa. Hello, Larissa. How are you today?
Hi, Publio. How are you? I'm doing well. I'm so happy to be here with you.
Me too. I'm excited to understand is this thing to love my enemies. It's a kind of complicated, but I'm gonna hold my
Very
horse here.
confronting.
Yeah,
It's confronting, right? Like it's a very interesting topic.
it's but I know this. Jesus Christ said something about this, and I'm excited here to hear your speech tonight. So I already have some questions for you in the end. Okay, prepare.
Okay, sounds
It's,
good.
the time is yours now. Thank you.
Thank you. So, good evening, everyone. Let me just share my screen here. It's a pleasure to be here with you all tonight. And we will, like Publio said, we will continue our studies of the Gospel according to Spiritism with the topic Render Good for Evil, that is under the chapter 12, Love Your Enemies, items 1 to 4. And like Publi was saying, this is definitely an interesting topic, and it invites us to reflect on the meaning of love your enemies, right? What exactly did Jesus actually meant by that? And it will invite us to reflect also on what is expected from us when we are dealing with people that we may consider like our enemies, in the sense that they are people that maybe are causing harm to us, or people that we know that they don't have good intentions toward us. So I hope this talk brings to us some clarity on this topic. And I would like to start the talk today with two passages from the gospel for us to see what Jesus said back in the time about this. So the first one is on the book of Matthew, and it says, "You have heard that it was said, 'Love your neighbor and hate your enemy.' But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. If you love those who love you, what reward will you get? Are not even the tax collectors doing that? And if you greet only your own people, what are you doing more than others? Do not even pagans do that?" So Jesus is bringing to us in this passage the knowledge that we must not only love our neighbor, right? Or the people that are closest to us, or that we already have some kind of sympathy or affection, but also that we need to love our enemies and actually pray for them, even though they persecute us and they can cause us harm, right? So the second passage complements the same idea, and it can be found in the book of Luke. And it says like this: "But love your enemies, do good to them, and lend to them without expecting to get anything back. Then your reward will be great, and you will be children of the Most High, because he is kind to the ungrateful and wicked. Be merciful, just as your Father is merciful." So basically, what Jesus is telling us is that there is a bigger reward for those who love their enemies and do good to them. And according to this passage, we are considered children of God when we truly put this lesson or this teaching into practice, right? But now the question is, and I want you to really think about it. If we think about our current daily lives, is this an easy thing to do? Right? I don't know about you, but for me, that's definitely a challenge in thinking that love as the way that we know, right? Um, Towards someone that causes her like harm, or that we know that bears some malice to us, or that even don't have any good intentions. So that's definitely, and that's why I said in the beginning that this teaching, it's really confronting us in some ways, right? Because it will need to us to understand exactly what Jesus meant by love your enemies. So Kardec and the Spirits starts the reflection saying that if the principle of charity is to love one's neighbors, then to love one's enemies is the most sublime application of the same principle, seeing that the possession of this virtue represents one of the greatest victories which can be achieved against selfishness and pride. So basically, applying the law of love to people that applying the law of love to people we love or people that we already have some kind of affection or some kind of sympathy will not require from us much effort, right? It comes naturally to us to give these feelings, like feel these feelings of love towards people that are closer to us, that we feel confidence. And so it's actually a natural feeling, right? However, loving our enemies, as quoted in this passage, will require from us way more effort and actually like conscious acting and reacting, right? Way more effort to act against our selfishness and our pride for the most of time. So that's why it's considered sublime, right? Because we need to consciously choose to render good towards evil. But now, however, like I was saying, right? What exactly love means in this situation? There's usually a misunderstanding in relation of the word love in this case. So, do you think that when Jesus say love your enemies, does that really mean that we should love our enemies the same way that we love our friends or our family or people that are close to us? So, the spirits often says that because the lack of better words to describe. Sometimes uh, words are that they use to reference emotions or describe situations cannot sometimes give the real meaning of what does that mean, right? So sometimes we ended up just understanding superficially, and that's why we need to study and we need to actually um, deepen our knowledge to understand all the teaching and the concept, right? So let's find out together what is the meaning for this commandment. So when Jesus spoke, he did not mean that each of us should have the same tenderness for an enemy as we would feel for a brother, a sister, or a friend, right? Because this feeling of tenderness presuppose confidence, presuppose that we trust that person, right? And no one can deposit confidence with another person knowing that they bear malice or they don't have good intentions towards us. So it's almost impossible for us to show like a truly friendship or a truly loving emotion for a person that it's likely to cause us harm or that actually already for in some point cause us trouble. So because between people who have no confidence amongst themselves, there cannot be the same manifestations of sympathy which exists between those who share the same ideas. So, in short, no one can feel the same pleasure when they are with an enemy as they would feel with a friend. basically that's what Kardec and the spirits are saying to us, is that it's normal that we would not feel the same way uh, between these two types of person, right? Like the ones that we actually have trust and we feel love, uh, and the others that we know that they are causing us some harm or evil, or they don't have good things toward us. And if you think that this seems difficult to put in practice, so remember that putting this in practice is a way for us to really be considered as children of God, right? We would be closer and similar to God in that sense. So if you think that it's hard to put into in practice, this is because we falsely understood that Jesus had ordered us to give both friends and enemies an equal place in our hearts. And that's not actually what the love means in Jesus' teachings, right? So when he says love your enemies, this does not mean that we would have the same place in our hearts for the enemies and the friends, right? Um, so let's continue and see what actually loving your enemy means. So, in reality, to love one's enemy means that, first of all, we should not hate or bear any rancor against them. That's a start, right? So we should not have any negative feelings toward them, no matter what they may have caused to us. We also should not have any desire of vengeance, right? So even though like we may think like, okay, I don't care, like he's there, I'm here. But if you start thinking on ways to prejudice that person, this is not, you are not loving your enemy in that way or in the way that you should, right? So it means also that we need to forgive all the evil they have caused without hidden thoughts and without conditions. And that's really important because how many times we say that we don't have anything against others, but inside we are still nourishing evil thoughts towards them, right? So that's why he's saying, like, you need to forgive truly without still thinking, without just being as appearance, right? And remember that we can hide from everybody, right? We can say, okay, we are good. I'm an angel. But in the reality, we can't hide from ourselves and we can't hide from God. So forgiveness should be one of the most important things on loving our enemies. Another thing that is really important is don't put obstacles in the way of a reconciliation. And we need to also wish them well instead of wish them bad things. So in this sense, it's really complex, right? Because let's say that someone caused you harm and yeah, you guys parted way, but then this person ended up regretting that attitude, right? And that act. And that person comes back to you and say that they want to reconcile with you, right? And depending on the way we may have felt in the situation, we may just, build a wall and say, no, I don't want to reconcile, right? So that's why it's saying here that we shouldn't be the ones putting any obstacles in the way of a reconciliation, right? If the person regrets it, we should be able to understand, forgive, and reconcile. Does it mean that you would become best friends? I don't know, not really. Or maybe yes, right? We don't know. But that's not really what they are saying here. They are saying that we should just reconcile. We shouldn't be keeping any regrets or any situation that in the future would go back to us, right? Because then it's our responsibility if the person shows regret, right? If the person is seeking for that, then it's our responsibility to actually be part of that and ends up things well, right? Okay, so the other thing that means loving our enemies is to actually feel joy instead of regret when good things happen in their ways, right? Because it can definitely, depending on the situation, it can definitely happens that we start to just think bad things, we start to wish bad things to that person, and we actually feel sad or feel envy, right? When things for the other person is doing well. And this is not what Jesus is saying that we should be doing, right? We actually need to truly feel joy and be happy for their successes. The other piece is that we should be helping whenever it's possible. And we should also abstain by words or acts from everything which might prejudice them, right? So, this is really important because, like I was saying, depending on the situation, we would definitely feel inclined to not helping that person, right? But if it's on our possibilities to offer help, we should do it. This is part of our responsibility. And when they say to abstain by words or acts from everything that might prejudice them, it means that we shouldn't be contaminating other person's like way of thinking about to prejudice that person, right? This would not be wise from us, and this would definitely not be the best way to show the love for those people. And finally, it means that we always have to return goodness for evil without any intention to humiliate. And that is a very specific condition, right? So, what happens is sometimes we may have some situation where we are able to either help or return with good to that person, but we do in a way that we ended up humiliating that person, right? We ended up um, choosing to go with our pride, with our selfishness, and ended up putting that person in a situation that it's not okay at all, right? So the Spirit says that whoever can proceed in this manner, all these things, that all this list, right? It's a big list, but whoever can proceed in this manner will fulfill the conditions of the commandment, love your enemies. So for those who are incredulous, meaning those who doesn't believe in anything else, in anything, any future life or past life, loving an enemy, it sounds like a contrasense, right? It can sound like doesn't make any sense. And it's because for them, the present life is everything and it's the most important thing. So for them, having one person that perturbs them, or that caused them harm, or ended up, being the way of their achievements or their goals, this would be something really hard to understand and to see as someone that needs our love, because these people, they will not be interested in forgiving unless it would be to satisfy their pride before the world, right? Unless this would reflect to them as a good thing. um, it's actually like, in this sense, we can actually say that this can also ended up making them feel a desire to revenge, right? If I know that, if I don't believe in anything else, and I think that the present life that I'm living, it's the most important thing, I will want to defend myself in like whatever way I can, right? Even so, that's why this feeling would end up being more propense to seek for revenge. Now, for the believer, and most important for all the spiritists, the way of looking at this situation is very different, because our vision extends over the past into the future. And between those two, we have the present life, which is nothing, the Spirit says that it's nothing more than a point in time. So we know that the material life that we live, that we are incarnated here, is not the true life, right? We are immortal spirits, and we are here incarnated to evolve and to pass through this experience that will bring us lessons and learnings for our continuous evolution. And that's why our present life feels like just a point in time, right? Because it's a journey. And don't get me wrong, it's a very important point in time. But in the sense that we are saying here, and understanding that we are in a planet of proof and expiation, we know for sure that we will meet with evil and perverse people, right? This shouldn't be a surprise, right? Um, so this should be taken on account when you think about everything that can happen to us while we are incarnated here. And everything that happens has a purpose and has a reason. So from this point of view, we can say that all those difficulties become easier to bear, less bitter, and no matter if they are originated by other people or by things that happens to our life. We know as spirits that we we are incarnated here to experience all these types of situation, and that these will bring us experience and lessons, right, to make us achieve and evolve, right? um, so we shouldn't actually be complaining for those trials, and in the same sense, we shouldn't complain about those who will serve as instruments. So that's another way that we can see those people that we maybe consider as our enemies, or people that um, don't do good to us, right? They are serving as instruments in our journey. So we actually should be thanking God for putting us to this test, and thanking for the hand that offers us the opportunity to demonstrate love, to demonstrate patience and resignation. And if we think that way, this idea will naturally dispose us towards forgiveness, right? So it would be easier for us to forgive when we understand that we are here to evolve, we are here to learn, and that the experience that we have from other people is what is going to make us. It's that those trials, right, that we have to pass through in order to acquire virtues, in order to be better, right? And the other thing that we should be taking on account is that we may be an enemy to other person, right? Are we being good? Are we doing everything that we can to be a better person and to not cause to other people harms, right? So whatever I was saying, all the lists about how we should love those persons, if we think that we may be the ones causing harm as well, we would definitely want that the other person would see us and would share the same love to us, right? So, this is another way of seeing this topic. And to wrap up all the knowledge, I wanted to give a recap on what loving our enemy is, just because it's a big list and it's something that we should be checking that list, I think, daily to see like in what are the things that we are already doing when something bad happens, and what are the things that maybe we will see and we will say, oh, okay, I still need to do that better. So I want to read it once more with you guys. So the first one is don't hate or bear rancor. Don't seek revenge. Don't put obstacles for reconciliation. Wish them well. Feel joy for their successes. Help whenever it's possible. Abstain from words and acts that prejudice them, and render good for evil without humiliation. So, this was a quick talk today, but I hope that the lesson was passed in a good way for all of you. And I'm here for the questions and the comments. Thank you so much.
Hello, Larissa. As I
Hi,
said, this
Fulvio.
topic, this topic, it's amazing, but like it's very hard for me. For instance, that I'm very hard for me to understand. It's okay, we understand. So do it is another thing. So
Yeah.
the question starts right away when you start talking. And
Mm.
Marcel put this question, how to do that, love our enemies. The second question is related to, but that's the point. Like, I understood what you said about what a spirit say about loving, what it really mean to me to be, and how poor was the language in that time. They use the same word for different meaning,
Mm-hmm.
but how to do that, love my enemy. And then the next question is related to this,
Okay.
and I'm gonna put together, okay,
Yeah.
is the one, how to use this teaching in our daily living. So how to
Yes.
do this
Interesting.
in
Yeah. Yeah.
today and when I go to my job in the morning.
Yeah, no, those are really good questions, and I think, like you were saying, right? The first step would be actually understanding what exactly love our enemies means, right? And like I was saying, it doesn't mean that you will be best friends with that person, right? That you will sit together and eat with them and bring them to your home, right? But what the Spirit says is that we should at least don't hate them, right? At least don't feel anything negative to them, right? Towards them. We wouldn't seek revenge, like all that list that I was saying, like those are the things that actually mean what is love our enemies, right? Um, and the other question, how to use these teachings in our daily living, I believe the first thing is actually the assess yourself, right? Daily. Whenever it happens something, whenever you are having like bad thoughts or like towards someone, or because we know we are living, we maybe work or maybe have other people's, we are social human beings, right? So we are surrounded by people, and sometimes people will cause us harm or make us feel hurt somehow. Sometimes it's not even with intention, but we can maybe develop some kind of um, um, like hate or anger towards the person, right? So the first thing is actually assess yourself and think like, okay, do that person actually was intending to cause me harm or not? Am I able to reconcile with that person, right? Am I able to do something towards her that will beneficiate them? If not, because sometimes it's people that it's not actually close to you, right? Sometimes it's random people. So I believe the most important would be just not send them like any bad vibration, you know what I mean? Any thoughts that is towards hate. We would actually, like Jesus said, we should pray for them, because if they are doing wrong, they probably don't know or don't have the same knowledge that we have, right? And we know that when we have the knowledge, we have more responsibility to act better and to do better, right?
Okay, now you put us in the spot because now we understand a little bit more. So I have one more question. Actually, two of them is the same meaning. One,
Okay.
the Rodrigo said, Jesus really challenged us to change our mindset, and overcome pride. Right?
Hmm.
So it's not an easy thing. Like you just snap your finger, and tomorrow I'm be an angel. Tomorrow I'm gonna love everybody, right?
I wish.
So because the spirit is like the spirits, the instruction from the spirits, since we are eternal and we have more than one incarnation, we can start learning this process because
Hmm.
Jesus came 2000 years ago, and we are still fighting to understand and start
Hmm.
practicing the love.
Yeah.
So, and the next one, I did a question I have to put here for you.
Okay.
Jesus Christ gave us the most strong example of how to love our enemy when he said in the last moment in the cross, Father, forgive them because they do not know what they do. So
Hmm.
the question is, one day we will love the same way that Jesus did. Like now,
Yes.
in thinking about the spiritism, what does spiritism say about this? One day we're gonna do this.
Yes. So actually, we are in constant evolution, right? And we will be going to achieve someday uh, as a pure spirit, right? In the scale of the evolution, which means that, and that's a good question, Publio, because if we think in pure spirits, we can say that they don't actually get offended or they don't actually get disturbed to all like those kind of harm, right? So that's why Jesus have that strong final ask for God, right, to forgive us for that. But yes, definitely we will achieve that someday, and that's why the reincarnation in all this journey that I was saying, right, from the past into the future, it's so important because we are constantly learning and we are constantly having opportunities to put those teachings in practice. But we are still imperfect, right? So we still get offended, we still have pride, we still have selfishness in us. So that's why sometimes it's hard to put into practice. Like you said, it's definitely not easy, and it's confronting us. It actually confronts us, because when we see, like you said, Jesus saying that, we think like, wow, that, like, he's definitely like a pure spirit, right? Because it's really like, with all the things that he had to go through, right? So yeah, but there is a bright future for us. We just need to keep going, keep studying, and keep learning and putting into practice, right?
Yeah, it's very important because the Spiritists gave us this knowledge that, like, it's not gonna be tomorrow I'm gonna start being a beautiful person and forgiving everybody, but it's like a school. You go
Yeah.
to step by step and learning how to love, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you said
Yeah.
in the beginning, love the ones that is my family, my wife, my kids is one thing, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a different levels of love. So
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ is in the high level, and we are here starting crawling, right? So, but we
Yeah.
are already doing something, and
Yeah.
knowing that the spirit has any opportunity to reincarnate. So that's a consolation.
Oh yeah, definitely.
There's some great talks here, and we'd like to thank you for the explanation. Now, like you said, we know a little bit more, we have more responsibilities.
Yes,
So
that's for sure.
I thank you for all the thoughts that you brought us, the teaching from Jesus Christ, from the spirits, and I really appreciate tonight. Thank you very, very much, Larissa.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye. So we are not finished yet. Now we're going to start the preparation for a spiritual treatment. And what is spiritual treatment? It's a treatment that composed of PAS. What is PAS? PAS is a transfusion of spiritual energy, assisting our physical, emotional, and mental balance. And this PAS is the best benefit from the spiritual treatment. To get the most better part of this treatment, please follow the guide audio instructions and reminding in prayer. You may close your eyes to help the mentalization. So, and during this, we have the magnetized water. What it is? The water receives healing energy from our body and soul, which your family and you can be benefit from. So to start the treatment, the spiritual treatment, we're gonna do our prayer. That is also be our final prayer. So for this, I'd like to ask you, invite you to close your eyes and thinking in these moments that a beautiful light is over us, diluting all the negative energies. And now, say thank you, Lord, for this opportunity that we had today, tonight, for those explanations teaching us how to start loving each other, and one day get the position to love our enemies. So be with us during this treatment. Bless us today, tonight, and forever. So be it.
Let us now prepare ourselves for the moment of the passes and the magnetization of water. Let's now calm our hearts, breathing in and out. Pay attention to your body. Focus on your breath and let yourself be carried by this energy. Let your thoughts pass by without judging them. Let them flow. Allow this light to be the beacon that guides you, and allow these words to penetrate your energy. Make each word an anchor of gratitude, faith, and trust. With the purpose of healing, which takes away my faith, healing every feeling of separation, of pain, let it all dissolve in this moment, leaving only love, gratitude, and trust. We ask God for the presence of our guardian angel and the friendly spirits who welcome us into this enlightened environment of our Spiritist Center. We open our plexus of love and forgiveness by mentalizing a light surrounding our hearts. Find a quiet and comfortable place to begin the mentalization process. Remove all worries from your thoughts. We ask that during the pass you breathe slowly and deeply. Let your body relax and surrender yourself to a deep meditation. Calmly imagine divine energies in soft and colorful light surrounding you in an environment of peace and spiritual warmth. Entrusting God with your most intimate desires, raise your thoughts to Jesus and the emissaries of the spiritual environment. The pass begins with the cleansing of your soul. Imagine a waterfall of crystal clear water pouring over us, removing all the feelings that keep you away from faith and trust. Feel the energy of this water bathing you and deeply breathe in, feeling peace and harmony. Allow this water to wash away all the impurities and spiritual larvae, washing away all the sorrows and resentments, any feelings of hatred and revenge that hold us back and cause us harm, not only from this life, but past ones as well. Now visualize spiritual doctors around you, applying magnetic cleansing passes, sanitizing your spiritual body of all sadness and negative energy. Mentalize these negative thoughts and feelings being washed away, evaporating from your soul, like water evaporating into thin air, and being carried far away from your mind. Surround yourself with the faith that bathes your being, bringing clarity and lucidity, rebalancing every cell in your body. May the water envelop all pain and bring the clarity of opportunity that chooses peace. The answer arises in our hearts, freeing us from all evil and freeing all whom we have caused evil into and who have caused us evil, washing away all the connections that bind us. Even though we may not understand, we are freeing ourselves from all that causes us harm. Feel this cleansing penetrate your soul and release. Now that we are spiritually cleansed, imagine yourself surrounded by the light of love from the hands of Jesus. At this moment, sing words of faith and gratitude, being faithful to the light that exists in me, planted by the zealous Father. Imagine the sunlight that surrounds and enraptures, freeing us from the chains of everything that holds us down, strengthening your faith. Allow yourself to trust in this light, surrender to it, involved in pleasant feelings and feeling relieved to receive the strengthening lights. Mentalize your spiritual mentors now applying divine light for the strengthening of your mind and your emotions, leaving you feeling emotionally revitalized. Let us now mentalize the magnetization of this water. May we mentalize all the friendly spirits, magnetizing this water and filling it with everything that our bodies, minds, and soul need, so that it may be of help to us. when we drink it after the pass. Thank you, God.
Hello, friends, brothers, and sisters. We'd like to thank all of you to join us tonight. Remembering that we'll be back next Tuesday here in Spiritism Canada and Continental Concafras America at 8:30 East, and next Wednesday on Kardec Radio 8 o'clock. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube from the Spiritism Canada and Spiritist Group Path and Life. Have all of you a beautiful night, full of energy, light in your heart, and see you next week. Bye-bye.
Jesus Christ, let us preach the peace, let us preach the love, and this world already wonderful will be much more. Get up, look at the sky, in the earth where the flowers bloom with sunshine. Let's hold our hands and be together on this road. Then we take peace and love and spread it to the world.